Hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment of The Real Podcasters, the show where we like to talk all things movies, TV shows, video games, and a bunch of other things in no particular order. My name's Reagan as ever, and I'm joined once again by my delightful co-host, because I can't think of a funny insult this time, or at least one that can top the last one. It's Dan. He's back again. Hi, Dan. And you've learned this time. You haven't taken a swig.
Yeah. That's why I was holding it back. Hello, you inferior. Now he's trying to remember dinosaurs. You inferior mosasaur.
121 episodes in, guys. There we go. Sorry, I'm harsh. I'm such a critic for the insults. What can I say? So, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's episode of The Real Podcasters. I say this week's because we're only recording this literally about 48 hours after we recorded the Doctor Who Season 2 episode, of which went out precisely 124 minutes ago. This is just how it works now. This is just what happens when you say, right, this is the schedule. We're going to record Jurassic World 10 years later. And then Russell T Davies decides, yeah, actually, I'm going to give you some things to talk about. And then we realise, oh, bugger, we're actually going to have to talk about...
Yeah, he did give us some things to talk about.
He did, but we don't need to talk about that because we've already spoken about it. So instead we're going to be doing another one of our retrospectives. And this is me kind of cheating with our little rule where... Just before I had my first breakdown, back in last year, I honestly thought it was longer ago, that's just how bad it is, I kind of said that anything we talk about in the future is either going to be stuff that we both actually like, or stuff that we can talk about, and this kind of fits closer to the latter. I'm not going to speak on behalf of my co-host, but I don't imagine that you think Jurassic World is particularly a good movie.
I mean, you'll find out.
Brilliant. So,
I love when these episodes come along and I can just play the long game for a little bit.
Halo Infinite, anyone? Still, not even gold stars for that one. It was platinum stars for that. For just, well, okay, this is going to be a longer episode. I don't think this is going to be a longer one, but there we go. So in the spirit of a new Jurassic World coming out, I think next month. I don't know if it's June or July, because I'm not really paying much attention. Oh, it's July. Okay, that's fine. Not really.
Yeah. Not that I'm counting down days or anything. You know.
I mean, you are, but not because you're in...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But,
I mean, it's dinosaurs, like, you'd like...
You got to get your dinosaur fix.
It might be the shittest thing ever, but, still.
Well, based on the trajectory of this franchise, it's going to be the worst one. So... In the spirit of Jurassic World Rebirth coming out very soon, we have also already spoken about Jurassic World Dominion back in 2022 in what I think is still, bar the commentaries because they don't count, the longest episode we ever recorded, and I vow to never record an episode for 135 minutes ever again, because that was just...
God, was that how long it was?
Yeah, but I can't remember if that still had a news section. I really hope it did, because if it didn't, we somehow spoke about that fecal matter for 2 hours. I don't know what we were on at that point. Clearly, way too much caffeine.
Oh, probably.
But
more than likely.
Yes. And we could have spoken about Jurassic Park. We have before, in various places. And considering it's the 10-year anniversary for this particular movie, it only seemed fair to give it a little bit of a look back. So, in terms of an introduction, as ever, I will revert to my co-host for a brief synopsis of Jurassic World 2015.
Okay, doke. So, 22 years after the events of Jurassic Park, Isla Nublar is now a fully functioning dinosaur theme park envisioned by John Hammond.
Rest in peace.
And it turns out that, a big dinosaur theme park is declining in viewership, so they decide to start making Frankenstein dinosaurs in hopes of drawing bigger crowds, because that works. There you go.
Well done.
Oh, and I forgot to add as the situation spirals out of control, humans and dinosaurs clash, revealing the dangers of tampering with nature and unpredictable consequences of playing God.
I mean, reveal is a bit of a lie, because we already know this. This is the fourth film. Like, it's like,
yeah,
what are the odds of this happening again?
Anything else? So like, I just asked ChatGPT to put in like some little like quirky little logline thing.
Have you been using ChatGPT to do the synopses every single time I've asked you to do this?
For a couple of them, for Jurassic World, I mean, I've just literally looked on Letterboxd and thought, okay, yeah, that'll do.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, so as ever with these retrospectives, what we'll do is we'll give our original first impressions and our general thoughts on the movie, a bit on the production and the reaction from people at the time, and then more of a detailed discussion with a lot of retrospective thoughts here and there. So let's get into our first impressions. In terms of mine, I remember seeing this, I think a couple of days after it came out. I was very excited because the marketing for the movie, in retrospect, is a bit weird, but at the time, I think they were some of the finest trailers that were coming out. Like that first teaser with like the piano rendition of the Jurassic Park theme went way harder than it ever should have done, to be honest. It really set a tone that is not in the final movie. But to get people interested, it absolutely worked. So I saw it at the Gala Cinema in Durham with my sister and my nan, actually. It was I think the only time I've actually been to the cinema with her. I don't know how it happened, to be honest. I think it was just on the day we were like, let's go and watch it. And we did. And we all borderline loved it. Even myself at the time, I think I labelled it the best movie of 2015. Granted, that's like June or July, so there's not a lot of stuff out at that point. But I really enjoyed it. It was also fascinating seeing my sister watch it. She was absolutely freaked out by the Indominus Rex. It was actually, like, I'm not going to say funny, because it's not, Aaron. But
it's not.
It's not, but I didn't anticipate any kind of like horror aspects, because we kind of lost that after the first movie, and then suddenly was
yes, we certainly did,
and suddenly was delving back into that even a little bit. I was like, that is the reaction I think the filmmakers wanted, so props to that. It wasn't too long after that my feelings became very mixed. I realised that the story is kind of a mess, characters are just non-existent, and
I've seen cardboard with more life.
There's a cardboard cutout of a member of staff at work which has more development than the characters in these movies, and that cardboard cutout is falling to pieces.
Wow, that really says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. It took me quite a few years to really notice the sort of meta commentary that the movie's trying to do on, looking at how a Jurassic Park movie shouldn't work or exist, or a Jurassic Park in general, but then it skirts those ideas off to the side for the second half to just be a generic monster movie, which none of the other... I mean, even Jurassic Park 3 is, it's borderline just a chase movie, but at least it had a little bit of an interesting story there. This one just devolves as it goes along. I'm more forgiving of the first half than the second half, and just everyone's kind of a waste. And eventually I did realise that, yeah, you know what? This is not a good movie. It really isn't. Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He actually loves this movie. It's actually his favourite one.
Okay, so much like yourself, I saw this... I'm not going to say opening day, but maybe a few days after. I saw it with another member of my family at the gala in Durham, actually.
It'd be really funny if we both saw it on exactly the same day and we had no idea.
Oh, I have no idea, to be honest. It was on a night screening as well.
Oh, then no.
Then no. Well, yeah, I was looking forward to it, and honestly, for quite a while, I was like, yeah, it is actually like a pretty good movie. But every time I go back and watch it, the less and less I start to like the thing. It's like they haven't learned from the other films, that just having any sort of consequence from having dinosaurs in a theme park is just a terrible, terrible fucking idea. And it to this day, it is still being used, despite that it's a terrible, terrible idea. And yeah, there are just like 2 good characters in this film. The rest are just annoying. And honestly, the writing for those annoying characters is truly dismal. I think a toddler could write better characters.
They probably could.
I do appreciate that they tried to kind of go back to a more horror vibe, especially with the invisible Rex, because let's take influence from Predator films and have a dinosaur that becomes invisible.
For one scene.
For one scene, and it's never, ever used ever again. So yeah, it's I don't like the film. Now I think it's fine. Like, it's something I can just put on and not really have to think about it a lot.
Yeah. Which
it's very much like a popcorn blockbuster.
Yeah, it is very much.
It's like if I've got absolutely nothing to watch, like it's very similar with the other like Jurassic Park sequels. I can just put them on and not really have to think about an awful lot of stuff with them.
Even Jurassic Park 3 with the god tier Spinosaurus.
Well, that's just
different.
That's just beautiful. That's different, Reagan.
Can we just agree that like we're only going to go and see the new one purely to see the Spinosaurus on the big screen again?
Yeah, I mean, well, that was. Mate, as soon as like the rumor of a Spinosaurus came into play, I was down for it.
Yes, it was.
Like, I couldn't give a shit if this film is absolute like travesty. I'm just in it for the Spinosaurus.
I do actually forget that this movie technically does have a Spinosaurus in it. So the point towards the end, I mean, we'll get to it properly later on, but the point at the end when Claire is luring the T-Rex out of its paddock to kick the ever-loving shit out of the Indominus Rex, it smashes through a Spinosaurus
kick
skeleton.
The ever-loving shit out of the Indominus Rex. You're making it sound as if it's like a Rocky fight.
I mean, it might as well have been. I probably would have preferred it like that.
Would have been quite hilarious if you had like the Rocky theme over it instead of like this like really climactic music.
I'm going to be seeking that out.
It's a silly movie. Why not just go full blown silly? Yeah.
But yeah, it does smash through the skeleton of a Spinosaurus, and I thought, how dare you? Like, I like that fight in Jurassic Park 3. I'm like the only person. Well, you might like it as well, but I think we're like the only ones that think, actually, you know what? It's good to actually kill off the T-Rex. Finally, it's actually dead. It's only taken 3 movies.
Yeah, it's not like the most like indestructible dinosaur of this entire franchise now.
Which is this exact one.
It can actually be killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, going into the production, when I was figuring out the schedule for this year, originally I did think we could do something on the cancelled versions of Jurassic Park 4, because there's at least 30.
Oh, I know.
Ish.
I know.
I did read the script for I think the one that got tossed around the most, which featured the return of Sam Neill as Alan Grant, being brought in to investigate deaths on the mainland. Which immediately, why do you hire a paleontologist to look into murders?
No, like why not hire like a private detective or something?
Yes, exactly.
Like, why an archaeologist going to look into murder mystery isn't really like his forte, so to speak.
The only excuse I can give is that because paleontology doesn't make much money, this is like his summer job.
Part-time job.
I wouldn't even hate that. I mean, it's a stupid idea, but yeah, and this one also featured the first idea of dinosaur hybrids, but in this case with either different dinosaurs together or humans, which is just the...
I gotta love that line within the film when they're down in the lab and there's like these big wigs, and Claire's showing these big wigs around the laboratory, and then there's some geezers like, how did you get 2 dinosaurs to
fuck, mate? It's to fuck.
I mean, I wasn't gonna go there, but you know.
But yeah, so the hybrid idea had kind of been thrown around like a decent amount in the past, so I'm not shocked that it does technically pop up here, and more so in its sequel. And it was actually Spielberg that was pitching these ideas, which doesn't shock me, considering that as much as I love and appreciate Spielberg as a filmmaker and a director, bar The Fabelmans, which came out last year or something, he's not made a good movie in a very, very long time, so his ideas don't really ring that much to me. So the ideas from him, which we used here, was the idea of a functioning theme park, Stephen, a character training dinosaurs, again, Stephen, and a hybrid dinosaur getting loose and causing chaos. So that's all from him. So it was considered very much in development hell until one Colin Trevorrow.
I mean, yeah, it's been in development hell since like the early 2000s. What I've read.
It was for about a decade. They really, really struggled with it.
Like there was countless amounts of rewrites. Like the dates just kept getting put off. Numerous scripts weren't working. Spielberg wasn't happy with the treatments, and Lord behold, 2015 comes along.
Well, exactly. I mean, Colin Trevorrow was brought on, and then they pushed the date because I think they were aiming for a 2014 release date. Then he comes along and they say, right, July 2015.
Yeah, they set it for June 13th.
Right.
2014.
So it's when he comes on board, because this is very much the era where a lot of like big tentpole movies get small-time independent filmmakers to direct them. This was one of the first times that we see that, of course. Gareth Edwards, who's helming the new Jurassic World, did exactly the same thing with Monsters and then with Godzilla and even Rogue One as well. Colin Trevorrow coming on was pretty apt at that time in filmmaking sense, and he wanted to make a more self-aware movie that acknowledged the difficulty and the stupidity of making a functioning dinosaur theme park, which kind of worked out quite nicely when Universal were kind of breathing on his neck, being like, right, 2015, it has to be ready for 2015. They couldn't give a toss as to what this movie was as long as it was out, and I thought,
as long as it was a Jurassic World
I was
movie.
like, that's pretty apt, considering the story that this movie is. So there we go. Massive marketing push. Final budget between 150 and 215 million dollars, which is kind of tiny compared to the bloody sequels, as we found out very recently.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's mental that the fact that the sequels actually have more money pumped into them than this one, because this one looks vastly more expensive than the sequels do.
It's weird because I think of the three, I would have said the one that looks the most expensive, and by that I mean the best directed and most visually interesting, was actually Fallen Kingdom. But that's with J.A. Bayona as a director and having seen horror movies, so it was very easy to get that look. But yeah, this one I'm surprised is actually the cheapest. But yeah, gross $1.65 billion worldwide. Still Universal's most successful film ever, and the most successful Jurassic Park movie. Even though being Jurassic World 1,
Heresy.
I know, yeah. Generally, the reviews at the time were pretty favourable from both audiences and critics. Mostly appreciating the visuals and the action, but missing the wonder of the original movie, which I suppose in retrospect that is by design. But we'll get to that in a bit. So, going into full sort of like discussion on the movie, let's start off with the humans. Because,
if you can call
well,
them
exactly, they are caricatures, essentially.
Yes, they
it's
are.
interesting that you said that there's two characters in this movie that you would consider good. I would only go with one.
One and a half.
Yeah, there you go. Because I know exactly which is the half you're
that.
thinking of.
Yeah.
We'll go with the one that I think everyone agrees is the best character in the movie, and that is Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep.
Because when I say she's the best developed character, that is like picking between different developed pieces of turd. It doesn't really matter. They're all still the same thing, just one looks a bit better. In the case with Claire, I find it interesting that there's only one character from the original movie that comes back, and that's Henry Wu, who's now become evil.
A bit of an evil.
Makes sense. Claire, as a character, and this was pointed out a while ago, and I can't unsee it. The only character that she resembles the most from the original movie is the blood-sucking lawyer, in a way.
Well, yeah,
which
because
I find
she's
is hilarious.
very much like... like she's a businesswoman with like a very cold sort of approach to her, but by the end of the film, she's almost like the protector. It's like, I've got to save these dinosaurs. It's like, you literally put them in this situation, Claire.
Yes, exactly. But I will give them credit to the fact that they have a character who is kind of designed to be quite unlikable from the start, and comes into her own when she realizes that Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, regardless, are both really stupid ideas. Even if she has the strongest heels in the history of cinema for running around on Dinosaur Island in high heels.
Those heels, like, good grief, man.
Yeah, actually, the most amount of development is with those heels.
It's actually the high heels,
yes, exactly. And I like how when she's introduced in the second film, the first shot you get of her is her with flats instead of heels. I'm like, wow, an arc.
Do you think she's maybe learnt a very valuable lesson in terms of footwear?
Yes, wear boots instead.
Like, running from dinosaurs in heels might not be the most, like, best choice of footwear.
Yes, exactly. So for her, she's actually getting her hands dirty by the end, and like her priority is like getting her nephews to safety, who she can't even recognize, which is just really funny, to be honest. She's just hopeless, to be honest. And like I said, it's hardly riveting, but considering there's no development for anyone else, she stands out by default.
Yes, definitely.
Then there's Owen.
You see, this is the problem I have with this character, because he's portrayed as such as like a survivalist, but there's so many decisions he makes in this film. I'm thinking, you're kind of just a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, right, we need to do this. I'm I'm scared of the outdoors, and even I have a better survival sense than you do in this film.
You're scared of the outdoors. Yeah. Oh, a future episode of this podcast is being recorded in the woods at some point, just out of like, bloody hell. But no, Owen for me, because what I appreciate with that first movie is like all the characters are kind of against type of what you'd expect in movies of the time. With this, yes, it's just the most generic, like, macho lead action star, and I'm like, why is this in a Jurassic movie? Like,
yeah,
like I know there's some really great action in the Jurassic franchise. I actually nearly said Assassin's Creed franchise for some reason. I don't know why I was about to say that. As a crossover, that's hilarious, but you know, Jurassic Creed.
Assassin Park.
I'm just picturing all of the protagonists of Assassin's Creed just being in enclosures.
Just on a little roundabout.
Yes. This is the Cassandra enclosure. This is the Ezio Park. What are we doing anyway? But no, I've never taken this franchise as like an action sort of thing, which on the one hand, I don't mind them doing it, because if you're going to do a fourth movie in a franchise that shouldn't have 4 movies, you kind of have to make it feel a bit different. But at the same time, that particular subgenre I don't think works for a movie like this. And Owen as a character immediately doesn't work, because for one, he's always right. He does nothing wrong. He knows everything. Mm-hmm. He's just perfect. It's funny how, like, a year previously, he's in the Lego movie as the most incompetent character who's meant to be the chosen one, who's meant to save the entire universe, and you don't believe it for a second. In this, he is just the chosen one, but actually the chosen one. And I'm like, I appreciate that Chris Pratt as an actor kind of goes against type for that sort of thing. He can be a bit sillier, whereas this, it doesn't fit him, I don't think.
Yeah, there's definitely some scenes that I can remember, and I just think like, oh god, just no, stop it, Chris.
Especially because he has a...
Like, can't you just do something like more dramatic? I don't know, like shoot the thing with the tranquilizer or something.
Well, let's face it, that's all he does as well. Beyond holding his hand out to all of the dinosaurs by like the end of the franchise, he's like, no, my friend, my friend, my friend, please be my friend.
Which I really, really forgot how much I detest the stuff with the velociraptors, actually. I hate the fact that it's come from a way of, like, you're displaying them as, like, these, like, really, truly terrifying. I mean, Jurassic Park 3 is a fucking mess. But at least it still suggests the idea that velociraptors are not pets. They're not doggies. This film makes it look as if velociraptors could be literally put in your house as a pet dog. No.
Well, that's the thing, because, I mean, I was going to get onto this later, I think we'll talk about it now, is, I think the worst subplot in this movie, and I don't know if it's the worst subplot in the entire franchise. It might be. No, actually, no, it's not. It's the stupid hybrid girl in the next one. That's actually the worst. I don't need human clones. With this film, it introduces the idea of trying to militarize the dinosaurs. And I'm sorry, but anyone with at least 3 brain cells, who clearly weren't in the writer's room for this or were on set, you'd immediately call out that, actually, this is a really stupid idea.
Well, it's like what The Lost World does. I mean, they don't have this, like, ridiculous, undeveloped military subplot, but they kind of go along the same thing. They just send in a bunch of military people to take dinosaurs back to San Diego and make a theme park in San Diego, which naturally goes horribly very wrong. But yeah, I think it's just ridiculous.
I mean, I've seen, like, defenders to this subplot by talking about how, oh, well, humans in the past have domesticated animals to use for, like, war, and I'm sat there thinking, yeah,
not fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, they're not dinosaurs, and secondly, we don't do it anymore. Do you know why? Because it's a fucking stupid idea. I was like, the only one that slightly worked is the Romans with the bloody elephants, like, a couple of thousand years ago, but that's still moronic. Are the Romans still here? No, that isn't the reason that they fell, but it's, one of them.
Like,
they fell off the elephant.
As soon as, like, I just saw the stuff with weaponizing the velociraptors, I thought, like, this is just going to be something that's going to continue in this franchise. And Lord behold, it did in Dominion, where they... What are they? The Atrociraptors, yes. I think they're called?
Unfortunately, I can remember the name, because it's just an atrocious name.
They're like... I mean, it is a stupid name, but, at least it fits the film because it's atrocious. And they're, like, pale white with red eyes, and they have, like, the laser clicky thingy-mabobs.
A laser pen.
Yeah,
it treats them like a cat.
It's a laser pen.
Like, I'm sorry, that would have been better. Just have a load of cats instead. Just have a lot of house cats just chasing the characters around. That, by default, would be a better film, because actually it would just become a comedy. And you know what? That would be mildly entertaining, whereas that movie... didn't have anything entertaining, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, and I've watched clips from that more than I should. And they're all terrible.
But yeah, I really hate... I mean, and yeah, you're spot on. Like, by the end of the film, there's only Blue left, and it's like they have this bond between human and dinosaur. I'm just thinking...
Blue acts like a human at that point, and I'm sat there thinking, no! Yes, it's a lizard! It doesn't
make sense!
Like, come on! Like, it literally nods at him and is like, right, let's rock! And it's like, no! No!
Like, next thing they're going to have, like, some, like, secret handshake or something,
If there's not a deleted scene with something like that, and you just sort of, like, fists, and he just fist bumps Blue. It's like...
Do you know, it kind of reminds me of, I mean, obviously that scene where they use the raptors to hunt down the Indominus Rex, and it turns out that the Rex is actually part raptor. And I just think back to the Lego Jurassic Park game and just how hilarious it is, because like, the Indominus Rex does all this like language and it's crying. It's like and he points to the humans.
I haven't gone to that bit yet, actually.
Do you not remember it?
No, here's the thing.
Oh, you haven't
here's the thing.
Oh my
Truthfully,
God, it's brilliant.
I refused to play it for years because I didn't like the fact they used like audio from the movies because it sounded really off, so I just gave up with that. I've started playing it this year, so I'm about midway through the first movie, but because I'm that type of person, I'm playing it in chronological order, so I haven't gotten to Jurassic World yet.
Oh, it is so funny.
But that sounds
like, I mean,
perfect.
With it being a Lego game, they make it so funny.
See, now I'm also just reminding myself of Lego Skywalker Saga with the two AT-ATs acting like dogs, just like running around on Hoth.
Yeah, basically, it goes in that kind of direction.
Oh, man, okay, you know what? Right, fine. I'll re-download that and I'll get to it and I'll give my updated thoughts at a later date. But yeah, I mean that particular subplot I absolutely despise. What I will say actually, because especially when it goes into sort of like re-examining Jurassic Park and Jurassic World in general, my favourite scene in the film is, and it's rightfully so, because one of my favourite scenes in the original Jurassic Park is just a talking scene with everyone around the table discussing why this is a shit idea. Same thing with Jurassic Park 3, with after Alan realizes that Billy has nicked the Velociraptor eggs, and he's like, some of the worst things imaginable were made with the best intentions. In this movie, you get someone actually finally admitting that, of course, none of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World were ever meant to look real, because you want them to look scary.
Really like tense scene with Mr. Masrani, I think it is, and Henry in the lab after the Indominus Rex is pretty much broken loose and killed half of the captain.
And Henry doesn't give a toss. He's like become like a proper villain now. It's hilarious.
It's like nothing in Jurassic World is natural.
Yeah, I was like, when I heard that in the movie, I was like, they've actually, thank you. Because there was a weird thing with Jurassic Park 3. I can remember watching the behind the scenes for that, and people going on about how, like, oh yeah, we need to make them look more accurate to reality. So the raptors have got some quills instead of feathers, because feathers don't look scary. Dominion actually made it work. The T-Rex is a scavenger instead, and the Spinosaurus is bigger than the T-Rex, so it kills it immediately. And I was sat there thinking, it's a theme park. It doesn't have to be realistic, because if it was, what would be the point? It would just be a zoo. That's like the difference.
But I love that bit where I think it mentions, like, obviously, designing the Indominus Rex, and then it's like, you wanted it bigger and cooler.
Yes, exactly. Because when you get to the Indominus Rex, because this is something that because I appreciate the commentary more as the years have gone on, and I can appreciate aspects of the Indominus Rex that I didn't at the time, namely the fact that visually it's not the most interesting dinosaur, especially in comparison to even something like the Indoraptor. It's just grey. Like, you could have made a fancy colour this time, but no, it's just like a grey slob with giant teeth, because its existence is purely just for profits. Its existence is purely for that, and it feels like a commentary on stale sequels in franchises that should have stopped a long time ago. This is just a grey slob, and
it's the corporate.
Yes, it's corporate. It looks very corporate. It doesn't look interesting. It's corporate.
Because doesn't Claire say that, like, it's whatever sponsors the Indominus
Verizon
Rex?
Wireless presents the Indominus Rex.
But it's so stupid because literally the film has so much corporate advertising in the film.
Well, what's it like? People.
I mean, Christ, look at the bloody when the Indominus first breaks out, there's like that bloody stupid like low shot of the Mercedes Jeep, and it's like, by the way, it's Mercedes. Like, just so you know.
Just like the people complaining that like the movie wasn't very realistic with its corporate undertones. I'm like, have you ever seen a Formula One race? The amount of sponsors on that is insane. Like, this actually makes sense.
I bet somebody's done a video of like all the corporate stuff involved in Jurassic World, and it's like Costa Coffee sponsors.
It's actually Starbucks.
Because I'm sure there's a Costa Coffee somewhere in there. Yeah, Starbucks.
I'm
sponsors.
sure the honest trailer for Jurassic World does feature, and also starring all of these brands.
I mean, it may as well.
But like, I'll give it credit to the fact that it does feel like a functioning theme park. It's got actual brands and everything around it, because it would do. And if you hate it even more, that is kind of the point, because we're 4 films in and we still haven't realised that, Jurassic Park is a shit idea. It really is. And I think that's my issue with doing a movie
Jurassic World's also a really shit idea, but there's Pepsi.
Because Pepsi's cheaper than Coca-Cola as a license. As I know that now. But so with that commentary kind of thing, with the idea of highlighting that, yeah, like a dinosaur theme park is a stupid idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to show the theme park up and running. Like literally, the tagline is "The park is open." Cracking tagline, it should actually be said.
Yes.
And you can see its downfall, reaffirming that it's a bad idea. Because it's people making stupid decisions throughout the movie, because they're all idiots. And I'm sat here thinking, they're all making stupid decisions now. They would have made stupid decisions prior, ergo, it creates a paradox, and this park should not actually exist.
Well, see, another thing is when the Indominus is literally playing cat and mouse as it's broken free, and then there's like Owen with his two sides. It's like, we need to evacuate the island right now. And then the next minute he's like, you've got like a minigun on a helicopter, just go and kill it. It's like, Owen, can you just make a decision, please? People's lives are at stake right now.
There's a part of me that would have loved so much if it was like, oh no, it's actually part tree frog, part raptor. You send a minigun after it. It's like, hang on a second. It's part minigun. And it just opens his jaw and there's just a minigun at the bottom. It's just... I wouldn't lie. That is not a terrible like
oh
it's
my
stupid,
god! It's the Mecha Indominus Rex.
They did Mecha Godzilla before Godzilla brought back Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, it's the Mecha
I know
Rex.
which version I would prefer. But especially with the Indominus, I would have liked more. Like honestly, and I know this wouldn't have happened because why would you in a Jurassic movie? And because it's very expensive. Because visual effects are very expensive. We're meant to feel sympathy for this creature because it has no idea what it is. It's lived its entire life in captivity.
I must say, I really do like that speech that Owen gives, like about how it's raised in isolation and it's figuring itself out and where it fits in the food chain.
Yeah, that's really tense because then you're like, okay, what is this thing actually going to do? So you do say it's actually just having fun with some of the other dinosaurs. That makes it sound like a very different movie. What I mean is, it's killing for sport, not trying to make more of itself. So like you get that shot of all the Diplodocus, I think it's those ones, all dead, but they're just scratched into and clawed into, but they haven't been eaten because it's not planning on doing that. It's like you say, it's figuring out where it is in the food chain, and even Owen's like, you do not want to be here when it finds out that it's going to be at the top, or something to that extent. But
I think it's literally within that same scene that Masrani, the owner of Jurassic World, is literally like, we've got like $100 million into the dinosaur. Why would we kill it?
Like, look
it's
out the window.
Profit.
It's like
just literally look to the left of you. There's somebody being eaten.
No, exactly. But what I would have liked, honestly, just to try and change it up a bit, is actually. That was sounding weird. I would like to have spent more time with the Indominus on its own, sort of figuring itself out. That might sound a bit too human. I don't know. But I think just to change it up a bit, especially because if it's supposed to be a creature we're supposed to, be fearful of, but also feel sorry for, which I believe is what they're trying to do with the new one with the bloody Distortus Rex, which is such a
Distortus Rex,
stupid name.
God.
We don't need to talk about that. We're not planning on talking about it unless it's absolutely amazing. It won't be. But there's not. But I don't really get the Indominus, which I suppose is like by default, I suppose. But yeah, it's such a missed opportunity, especially because the final sequence with it going up against Rexy and Blue. At the time, I loved that scene. I watched it a lot, but then I realised that. That now its existence is just being used as a punching bag, to just beat you over the head with. Remember the original? It's so much better, isn't it? Look at it beating the shit out of the new one, and then is eaten by the Mosasaurus, which I think I clocked as soon as the Mosasaurus first turned up. I was like, it's going to be that. That is going to be the one that kills us.
Oh yeah, it was. It's absolutely, because as soon as you see the Rex getting closer and closer to the water's edge, you just know what's coming.
Which, to be honest, it's stupid.
It's almost like the film says to you, here's a Mosasaurus, don't forget about it until the end of the film.
Because let's face it, bar killing Katie McGrath's character, granted, in horrific fashion, it must be said, her entire death sequence is unnecessarily morbid, with little blood.
Yeah, I think that's got to be like the most morbid death throughout the franchise. I mean, that and Eddie's death in The Lost World, where you get the two T-Rexes basically just rip him in half.
Moment of silence.
I think her death is just so over the top and morbid because she's just been dangled like a bit of string from the Diamorphodons.
Yeah, and especially because, I mean, there was enough people criticising it, and I was sat there thinking, is it just because she's just a random character? Because I think you wouldn't be criticising it if it was a lead one. You'd be thinking, oh, this is really badass that they're dying in like 7 different ways and being torn into 14 pieces. But because it's just a random character that just gets plucked off the ground, yeah, I kind of get it. It is really morbid. I'm not going to say I like it, because I don't. It's death, obviously.
I just kind of like how Zach and Graham are just stood in such disbelief at what they're witnessing as well, though. It's like you'd kind of think, seeing all these, like, flying dinosaurs, like numerous pterodactyls, diamorphodons, petrodons, you duck and cover, know they're just amazed that this woman is literally being dangled like like a bit of string, and then dropped into a very, very big enclosure where there's a very big fish.
Speaking of Zach and Greer, because I do have them in this.
I hate it.
No, I absolutely agree. They have nothing to do but just run around the park and then also run from dinosaurs. And unlike with Lex and Tim in the first, these guys don't need any help at all. They have, I think, the densest plot armor I've seen in a movie like this.
Oh,
like, they survive.
It's so atrocious. Like, the relationship is so off, and then it sort of feels like you're forced to root for this brotherly relationship, like halfway through the movie, where the film goes back to the original part, because we're so loving of nostalgia. It's like, remember the sign, remember the Jeep.
I hear that entire scene.
I really hate the relationship. Like, there's nothing to root for, and it feels so forced by the end of the film. It's like these two brothers had differences, but now they've come together to fix a Jeep like they did. I'm like,
no,
stop it.
There's like two specific details with them which I don't like. First of all, Owen and Claire's running around the park trying to find Zach and Greer, and Zach and Greer just happens upon them. I don't like that at all. I was like,
yeah, it's a bit too much of a plot convenience.
But I think the one thing I hate the most about them is this: their parents have sent them off to the island, not just to have fun on Jurassic World, but also because they're having a divorce and they don't want them there. And I'm sat there thinking, you've sent them literally into the middle of a zoo and just said, have fun.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
We will see you when you get back in bags.
It's feckin' Judy Greer who's who's a victim of Michael Myers later on down the line. But yeah, that seems like a very stupid subplot. We're getting a divorce, so we're going to send you to an island full of dinosaurs. Nothing can go wrong. You're going to have a great time.
And it's like,
oh, really?
No, actually. It's like, come on. Like, what the hell is this?
Like, surely the parents at that point are the villains,
yeah,
really.
They should have been. Which, in fairness,
like, they've literally sent their children to an island full of dinosaurs.
Well, that's the thing, because when you think about it, the humans are usually the villains in these movies. This one just decides that the Indominus Rex is the main villain, and it's like, it's not, though, it's the victim. It's always been the victim, and you play it as the villain. I'm like, I can't believe I'm feeling more sorry for the CGI monstrosity that's running around with the world's biggest jaw. Like, it's just spooky when, like, literally when it's fighting the T-Rex and it's, like, lying on the ground and it's just, like, cowering over it and it just, like, opens its mouth. And it's like, how long is that jaw? Like, that's insane! Just, like, even the crocodiles next door thinking, bloody hell.
It's like, damn, you had some surgery done. But I'm sure it's like it's made up of all like different dinosaurs. So it's probably like part baryonyx as well, like a crocodile type thing. Probably Spinosaurus in there somewhere. You know, I mean, if it's half Velociraptor, half T-Rex, it's a bit of everything. I mean, it's tree frog as well. So
I would have preferred if it just looked like a giant tree frog, to be honest.
The froggy
like
Rex.
Something went really wrong, but we've got him because he cost $100 million. So you're just like pretend that you're terrified of frogs because he's a big ass frog now.
I can imagine it just like being like, you know, like what like a frog like sticks on a tree. It's just this giant dinosaur just stuck on a tree.
I'm also just picturing when it gets out of the enclosure and it's chasing Owen, which to be honest, I like that scene a lot. It's actually quite spooky. But I'm just picturing instead of it's a giant tree frog, it's just bouncing towards him. It's like... And it's like, no, you couldn't make that scary at all.
No, yeah. I mean, see, I think it had so much potential because it actually can be quite tense in parts, and it's just a shame that it has like so many flaws that outnumber the good things.
It's like especially going back to that whole commentary on like this is all about how it highlights that even with a functioning theme park, everything's going to go wrong. And I'm sat there thinking, you've already highlighted that with the first film before the park even opens. There is no point in trying to tell this story again, but with a functioning theme park, because there's no possible way that it could ever have been opened. Like, I know this, behind the scenes, I know Colin Trevorrow was saying about Jurassic Park 2 and 3, and he was saying, I haven't wiped them from canon, but I'm just ignoring them so I can tell this story. And I'm sat there thinking, have you just done that deliberately so that we can't highlight the San Diego incident as well, and even the aspects of Jurassic Park 3 with the military coming to East Lasona? I was like, that's why you've done it. Because if you add those in and actually acknowledge it, people will realise, oh, no, it wouldn't have worked.
Then your military subplot is even more of a subplot that doesn't get explored.
It's like there are absolutely aspects, as we like get to the end of this, there are absolutely aspects of the movie that I can appreciate, especially later on. But even then, knowing we've gotten sequels to this, it goes against the story it's telling. Where it's like, oh yeah, the idea of bringing back the dinosaurs is a terrible idea, but we'll do 2 more. And then we'll do another one. And it's like, guys, come on. It's like, I know people love Jurassic Park, and we've said this before. I'm sure we said it when we did.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I do as well. It's amazing.
Even if this film is a travesty, like, I'll watch it every now and again just for, like, you know, I fancy just watching dinosaurs again.
And that's all it is. It's literally just like what you were saying before, where it's like, it's just like it's like literally a popcorn movie. It's designed for popcorn. So you're focusing on that and nothing else. Because as soon as you start thinking about it, like, again, of the 3, it's the better one, but that's just by standard, because the second one doesn't devolve into absolute idiocy, and the third film exists. Like, that one, there's nothing in the third one. It
certainly exists.
I realised, I was like, ooh, I might actually have to drop my rating down to a 1, actually.
Don't you lie, you love the plane scene. Alan!
Not that one, I meant Jurassic World 2 and 3.
Oh, I thought you meant...
I like Jurassic Park 3, which is why we'll probably talk about it next year for its 25th anniversary, and it looks 25, it must be said. There's like, your face like, yes, finally, some like actual cinema.
Can't wait to salivate over the Spinosaurus for like an hour.
It's actually just going to be ASMR, and it's literally just going to be... I'll reference this, actually, even though you haven't seen it. There's a movie that came out this year called Sinners. Drool. It's a sequence with drool. It's like that for an hour. That'll be us. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Dan hasn't. Watch it, Dan. It's really, really good. It's the best film of the year. It's just going to be that. It's just going to be us just salivating over Spinosaurus PNG. Because otherwise, there's nothing else to talk about in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, I mean that would be probably the center point of the entire episode. Oh yeah, there's a Spinosaurus as mentioned for like the 70th time.
70th is not a high enough number, Dan.
That's not enough.
No, it's not
enough.
But yes, let's wrap things up with this one. Yeah, like we've said with this particular movie, I mean, for one, I've enjoyed it talking about it again, because it's just fun to sort of talk about a movie that is really, really dumb. Like, it claims to be really clever. There's bits that it is, but by the end, it's like, dinosaur. Wow.
A dinosaur team up and fight.
Yeah, suddenly having, like, the T-Rex from the original movie suddenly being, like, an anti-hero is idiotic. I was like, this thing is a killer. Like, why are we suddenly rooting for it to survive? Like, come on. Although
it's like it went and murdered a bunch of veggie-eating dinosaurs who were just minding their own business. I hate it. I want it destroyed. It literally murdered the patasaurs for no reason other than I can do it because
exactly.
I'm a dick.
Yes, like I say, I'm not big on this movie. I'm still surprised I rewatched it earlier this year, not realising that it was earlier this year, not last year, because that's just how time works. But, yeah, like I say, of the three, gunning for 4, and I'm going to assume even after the 4th one comes out, this one will probably still be the better of the 4 turds. Jurassic Turd, we'll call it instead.
It's just such a shame though, like, because I really do like Jurassic Park, and you know, even the sequels, they might not live up to it, but they're still pretty fun to watch. But this is just like, every time I watch it, I start to dislike it more and more. And it's very much the same with, I mean, I've seen all of like the world stuff in cinemas, and it's weird because each time I've saw them, I thought, you know, that was actually pretty good, and then like within a couple hours, like, God, that was absolutely dreadful.
Well, luckily, we never have to talk about Dominion again. I'm certainly not going to do Fallen Kingdom anytime soon, because screw that. But yeah, we'll definitely cover Jurassic Park 3 next year, I think. And to be honest, we could also do the first film, because we haven't actually done that. I know we kind of did sort of like a general sort of overview of the trilogy back in 2022. That might need a redux, I think. If only because we're older and wiser, and also more...
Older and... Well... don't know about wiser.
Just older, that's fine then. But yes, that wraps up our thoughts on Jurassic World for its 10-year anniversary. I'd celebrate it, but I'm not. But we spoke about it, so that is the celebration that it's going to get. So thank you very much for listening to that. Coming up next with episode 122, we have another retrospective for a 10-year anniversary of a release, this time for a thing that we actually like. It's not Jaws. Oh, do you? Okay, well, do you want to tell the... do you want to tell the ladies and gentlemen, and I really hope you're wrong, even though you're probably looking at the schedule right now.
Batman, the driving simulator.
Yes, it is somehow 10 years since the release of Batman Arkham Knight. So we're going to be chatting about that ever controversial installment in the series, which I say controversial, it's not anymore. That award goes to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I didn't play it. I'm never going to. Not that interested. But yeah, we'll be talking about that in a couple of weeks. I'll say a couple of weeks, about a week and a half I've got down for this. So, but yes, we'll be back next time with Batman Arkham Knight for its 10-year anniversary. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you then. And until then, it is goodbye from Dan.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.